everyone, welcome to Hidden City. We're coming at you from the Upper East Side, really Yorkville, now home to businesses and people of all different backgrounds, but maybe some 60 years ago, it was mostly German, and if you know where to look, you can still see traces of that tradition. Here to tell us where to look is Rolando Pujol from AMNewYork. Great to see you, Rolando.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for filling us in.
No
so
problem.
this used to be German Boulevard.
It really was, exactly. I mean, up and down the street there were German cafes and theaters and saloons and you name it. It was really a hopping scene, very German. You could hear German spoken up and down the street. And one of the interesting things about this neighborhood is that while it's changed dramatically, there are still little traces of the German heritage if you know where to look. One of the places that you can look is right here at this newsstand here, which sells magazines from all around the world, but it still stocks German newspapers, as you can see right over here. And you can also purchase Der Spiegel, the magazine as well, the German magazine. So it is absolutely a place where for whatever Germans are remaining in the neighborhood, and there aren't that many, they can still come here and pick up news from the homeland.
Great, so we start on 86th Street
Yes.
and we go beyond.
Let's do it.
So now we're just a block south, and Rolando, you say a building here really has a dark history.
It really does. This was the headquarters of the German-American Bund, which was led by Fritz Kuhn, who led a pro-Nazi movement in this neighborhood before World War II. It culminated in a big rally at Madison Square Garden in 1939. But eventually the city cracked down on the movement, and he was proved to be somebody who was embezzling money from his own organization. There was a lot of division in this neighborhood about that. Lots of German Americans opposed this movement as well. Eventually that ended, and this building had other uses over the years. It was a funeral home and an elector's department store. And now, as you can see, it's a bank. Most people have no idea about that history.
And ironically, across the street shows a very different side of this neighborhood, and that's really the transition when Germans were moving out. But this building might look familiar to people.
It sure does.
We're moving on up to the east side, to the deluxe apartments in the sky.
George and Wheezy Jefferson, the Jeffersons were perhaps you can call them early gentrifiers back in the 70s. Right, and the Germans moved on out. And the reason they were moving out, in part, was because of changes in the neighborhood. You had the 3rd Avenue L, which used to run right up 3rd Avenue right there, 2nd Avenue L. Those were torn down. But when that happened, developers got very interested in this neighborhood. You had to come in, knock down the old townhouses, and sort of upscale the neighborhood. And that began to change that family, that local German feel that had existed here for decades.
All right, well, we want to get a taste of the old neighborhood, and we're going to find it. We're going to go eat.
Let's do it.
So here we are at Heidelberg Restaurant. Rolando, you say it's the perfect place for bratwurst.
Exactly, you know, and your sausage platters and your beer boot and just fun atmospherics, lederhosen-clad waiters. And it's right over here since 1936, a great leftover of the old German neighborhood.
Amazing, and they're finally getting to the 2nd Avenue subway.
About time, yes. I mean, they took down the L train back in the day, and they never replaced it with the 2nd Avenue subway until now, 50 years later. It's causing some trouble for the businesses, but in the long term, it will benefit everyone.
All right, well, time to go see where they get their sausage.
Good idea. Let's check it out.
So Rolando, now we're just 2 doors down at Schaller and Weber with every manifestation of meat you can imagine.
Exactly. A sausage lover's paradise here. They've been here since 1937. Still in the family, the Schaller brothers still run the show. Back in the day, they used to make the sausage right downstairs, but as the business got bigger, they moved out to Astoria where they have an immense plant that's grown over the years. They provide sausage all around the country. They provide sausage to all the beer gardens that have been opening all around the tri-state area. They're the premier provider. And in here, as you can see, the original storefront is very atmospheric. Tradition going back to 1937 right here, right before our eyes. All sorts of cool stuff here.
Yeah, well, you were talking about beer gardens, and you need a beer stein for the beer garden.
Yes,
they've got them here too.
They've got them here too, and they've got some really cool examples of it. They range in price from $30 to as much as $300. Many of them are very rare, numbered, serial numbered. So they're really quite special. Good place to load up on your beer steins and imported goodies from the old country.
Great, well, we've done dinner.
Yeah.
It's time to do dessert.
Good idea, I like that.
So after 108 years in business, we're at a place that knows how to do dessert.
They sure do. John Glosser's Bakery, they've been here since April 1902. It is still in the same family. The Glosser brothers still run the show here. One takes the day shift, one takes the night shift. Family still owns the building, and that's helped keep this business going because they don't have to answer to the landlord. They are the landlord. And it's still very, very popular. All sorts of wonderful treats here. A lot of the things they offer these days are bakery baked goods you can find elsewhere, not necessarily German, but around the holidays you can get some of the old classics like Stollen, for instance, a delicious cake.
Yeah, well, they've had to evolve, but you
Yes.
can see signs of the past. For example, the floor.
Yeah, look at this floor right here. You've got the tile floor here with the name of the founder, John Glosser, incorporated right here. Original tile to the place. There's also these wonderful wood and glass cabinets, and they are original. And right over here, if you come and pick up some goods for the holidays, you can absolutely get the whole little story of the Glosser family celebrating their 108th year in business and one of the final German businesses left in the neighborhood.
Wow, okay. Well, now our next stop is a place that the Pope visited, so why
Exactly.
shouldn't we visit as well?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Right.
So we just walked around the corner. Now we're inside St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church, and this is actually the last place in the Archdiocese of New York where you can hear a Mass in German.
Isn't that incredible? The first Sunday of the month at 9:45 a.m. at Mass, you can have a German Mass, which is really quite remarkable. Father Boniface Ramsey, the pastor here, leads the Mass, and he also teaches a German to the students right next door at St. Joseph's School.
Yeah, it's a special place, so special that Pope Benedict visited in 2008.
He sure did. Our German Pope visited here, and to commemorate, about a year later, they put a beautiful mosaic here, which depicts the papal seal.
Yeah, no, it's great. Another symbol of tradition that still lives on here in Yorkville.
That's correct.
Okay, well, Rolando Pujol, thank you for showing us all the hidden treasures.
It was my pleasure. Thanks very much.